What's up, y'all? How you doing? I know I'm doing just fine. But today I wanted to talk about the trade rumors surrounding Carmelo Anthony. Now, today, Carmelo Anthony was rumored to be talking to Phil Jackson, the president of the Knicks, about a possible trade or possibly staying in New York. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So his current contract currently is 5 years, 124 million, with a no trade clause. So a no trade clause is basically the team can't trade him unless he says so. So he chooses the teams and he has a say in whether he's traded or not. So in his current situation with the Knicks, the Knicks are currently 18 and 24. They're 11th place in the East, which places them 3 spots out of the playoffs. And to be honest, from the looks of it, I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, that means some teams like Chicago, Charlotte, and Detroit will they'd have to really kind of mess up their next couple of games, or just obviously lose more games than the Knicks. So the chance of the Knicks making the playoffs this year are pretty slim, especially on how they're playing at this rate right now. So Carmelo is currently on a losing situation, and he can easily flip that over to a winning situation by simply being traded. So let's look at the possible trade destinations for Carmelo Anthony. So what we have here are the 10 possible trade destinations. These are the 10 teams who have really been looking at him and have decided that his services would be good there, or have inquired about him. But obviously half of these teams they wouldn't even come close to landing him. So I have shortened the list to these 4 teams. Now, as you can see, we have the Boston Celtics, the LA Clippers, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the first team I wanted to talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, to be honest, out of the 4 teams, I feel like the Cleveland Cavaliers have the least chance of landing him, or at least I would hope that they wouldn't trade for him, as the Cleveland Cavaliers already have the chemistry they need. They're basically already set for success. They don't need to trade anybody for him. They don't really need him, you know? So if they were to trade him, they'd probably trade him for Kevin Love, which I think it would be a insanely stupid trade. It's pointless to trade Kevin Love when Kevin Love is already built into the system. He has plays run around him. He knows how the team works. He's been with the team for the past 3 years. So it just really wouldn't make sense when he already knows the system and all, and yeah. Plus they just acquired Kyle Korver, as you can see. Which he is also just getting familiar with the system. So when it comes to Cleveland, you could just check them off. So with Cleveland done, we're going to move on to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So as we all know, Oklahoma City Thunder just lost Kevin Durant in free agency over the summer. And it's been tough. Russell Westbrook has definitely kept the team above water, kept them high above water, getting them just about as many wins as they had last year. But as we all know, a superstar, as great as a superstar as Russell Westbrook is, he can't carry Oklahoma City Thunder by himself. So it's quite obvious that he needs another superstar, which I feel Carmelo Anthony would be great in Oklahoma City Thunder, because Oklahoma City Thunder, they kind of lack in three-point shooting ability. I mean, Russell Westbrook's three-point shooting has gone up from previous years, but it's not enough to really keep the balance, I guess you could say. So obviously Carmelo Anthony is definitely a great shooter. He would really run good in Oklahoma, similar to how KD did, just a little bit less, I guess you could say, athletic as KD. But if we're talking about trades, Oklahoma has plenty of assets to trade. They have Enes Kanter, they have Anthony Morrow. They have a whole bench load of people they could trade. But with that said, is it really the best destination for Carmelo? We saw what happened with Kevin Durant, as he really didn't, I guess what was going on around, he didn't like playing with Russell Westbrook, so he left. So this is this team would be definitely a tough decision to make. I feel like it would definitely be a good place for him to go, but we'll just see how it turns out. Now our next destination is the LA Clippers. Now the LA Clippers, probably of the 4 teams, have the biggest or the highest chance of landing him because they have Chris Paul. Now if you didn't know, Chris Paul is a very good friend of Carmelo Anthony. So that definitely is a huge factor. It definitely is it definitely increases the chance of him going there and makes it more attractive for him to go there. Not only is it the friendship with Chris Paul, but of course the play of Chris Paul, as he's a point guard who doesn't usually have to have the ball in his hands all the time. He doesn't have to score all the time. You know, he's a passing point guard, and he's very known for passing. So, one, as the somewhat selfish player that Carmelo Anthony is, it might be good to have a distributor, I guess you could say, as the distributor is in Chris Paul. But regarding trading, the LA Clippers have definitely a lot of attractive assets that the New York Knicks might want. The most likely trade would be Carmelo Anthony for Blake Griffin. Now, this is really a win-win situation for both teams, as New York it's an organization that focuses on having stars. So obviously Blake Griffin is a star, which would make it the most attractive trade for New York. And regarding the LA Clippers, having Carmelo Anthony would make the Clippers of almost instant, I guess you could say, championship contender. I mean, their starting roster would be Chris Paul, JJ Redick, Carmelo Anthony, and DeAndre Jordan, which is a pretty deep roster, considering that you have a passer in Chris Paul, you have shooters in JJ Redick and Carmelo Anthony, and you have a big post man in DeAndre Jordan. So it's definitely would be a very, very balanced play and balanced roster for the Clippers. So I don't know, put that in the description. Do you think Carmelo Anthony being traded to the LA Clippers could make them a title contender? Because as we've seen, they're definitely a great team, but they can never progress through the playoffs. So leave that down below on what you think Carmelo Anthony going to the Clippers would be. But now for the last and final team, we have the Boston Celtics. Now the Boston Celtics for a while have been gunning to get Carmelo. They've tried for a long time. I think even from when he was coming off, when he left the Nuggets. So obviously, the Boston Celtics have showed that they want Carmelo. Now the Celtics have plenty of players to trade, but if they were to trade for Carmelo, they'd lose many of their young bench players. Basically, what Boston is composed of is just young players with a lot of potential. But if they do make the trade, I feel that with Isaiah Thomas being not a rising star, because he's already a star, but as Isaiah being the main face of Boston, I feel like there could be a little bit of pressure in there. Or I don't know, I just don't feel like those two would really be compatible, I guess. I mean, Isaiah Thomas is a good passer. He can dish dimes, but I'm not sure exactly how Carmelo would fit in the organization with Isaiah Thomas. I don't know. That's just me, but If you have any different thoughts, put that in the comment section below. Now, in conclusion, I think that the Clippers and the Oklahoma City Thunder are the best place for Carmelo Anthony to go. I feel like the Cavs should not waste their time breaking up the chemistry and having to restart over with a new player. And I feel like just Boston is just not the best place for him. But I feel like the Clippers and the Oklahoma City Thunder have a really good chance at him playing there. And I feel like if he goes to those teams, he could have success with them, as he hasn't even made it out of the first round of the playoffs with the Knicks. So what do you think? Should Carmelo Anthony be better off with the Clippers or the Oklahoma City Thunder, or just stay home in New York and see where his career takes him? Now please like and subscribe, and check back with this channel because I'll be posting a lot of videos like these weekly. Thank you.